Gentlemen, let's start with Sydney and the decision by the Berejiklian government to ban construction work. Michael Kroger, even Victoria didn't dare do that. What do you make of this? This is a bold move. Courageous, some would say.
Courageous. Well, they didn't do that in Victoria because the building unions got onto Andrews early on and said, if you do that, you'll be in trouble. So he acceded to their demand. But it worked out well because most of the building work is either outdoors or it's in an airy situation. Where there's indoors work, it's limited, etc., etc. So should they have closed down the buildings in New South Wales? No, they should not have. It was totally unnecessary and it's cost the New South Wales economy a fortune, Rita.
Well, it is. It's costing it an absolute fortune. And Gladys Berejiklian's crown as the gold standard, Gladys, that has well and truly slipped. She has really upset everybody. The lockdown enthusiasts say she didn't lock down quick enough or hard enough. And the people who applauded her previously for having a proportionate response are saying she's lost the plot. She's jumped into the eradication cult along with Dan Andrews and every other state premier. So what do you make of Gladys Berejiklian and where she stands right now with her COVID response? Michael Kroger.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, look, I think the New South Wales government has been the gold standard all the way along. Obviously, there was a mistake in terms of how the virus got out through this driver. But again, I'd say that the Berejiklian government should do what it's done for the whole year, which is just close down those areas where the virus is and not follow an eradication strategy. I mean, this nonsense of eradication. I mean, in a year's time, Rita, when 80% are vaccinated, there is still coronavirus in Australia. Are we going to have these lockdowns? Of course we're not. We're going to have to live with the virus.
We may have them, Michael, because we seem to have absolutely zero tolerance for any virus in the community. You look at the UK, Freedom Day today, all remaining restrictions lifted. They had 50,000 cases in 24 hours. So they're vaccinated. They've got 65% of their adult population vaccinated. But you're still going to have cases with a high vaccination rate. You're still going to have hospitalisations. You're still going to have some deaths. Are we ready for that, or are we going to be locked down for the foreseeable future, which feels that way? It seems there's no politicians willing to be honest with the Australian public about what COVID normal looks like.
And I think that's the problem, that you've got a situation where the premiers are being seen to make very strong decisions. They've been in charge, but we're in this era where what they do is they scare the living daylights out of people. I mean, Y2K bug years ago, then we're going to have a food shortage three decades ago. Now we've got global warming's going to kill everybody. And I saw that last interview you did where the psychologist is saying 18 months ago she had to deal with young kids who thought the planet was going to burn them to death. I mean, this whole cycle we're in of we'll be ruined, is something that politicians are doing these days, and it's utterly disgraceful. I mean, we didn't elect these chief health officers, and the premiers should be making some decisions about keeping the economy strong, keeping mental health at bay, and not panicking every time and closing down the whole state, because it is doing immense damage. And we're in a time now, Rita, where we should have balance. There should be balance, and we're not getting that. We're just getting this political extremism, and I think the electorate are getting sick and tired of it.
Increasingly, but there's also, Michael Costa, a lot of the electorate who are scared witless, and they want ever tougher restrictions because they think it's the only thing keeping them safe. Michael Costa, with the New South Wales decision to ban construction, it's going to cost the state upwards of $1 billion a week. Should we be seeing at least the medical advice behind that decision?
Well, Rita, there's no medical advice. The Premier up here has admitted, I don't know if you saw the report, that this didn't come from the Chief Medical Officer. It's a political decision to do this. And I think that's part of the problem here, where you've got politicians, hiding behind medical advice when it suits them, and then making decisions independent of that advice. I think what we need is honesty here. And the reality is that until we get a vaccination rate of, somewhere in this order of 60 or 70%, these lockdowns are going to be around for, years to come. And I think we should focus on that. And the other problem we've got is there's no guarantee that even with those vaccination rates, the political will be there to open up. I mean, the government, and I think all governments, but particularly the federal government, need to say, look, when we get to 60%, 65%, whatever the figure is, we will ease up on lockdowns and allow the medical system to deal with the consequences, because we've, insulated it against the pressure. But we don't have that. Therefore, you've got confusion, you've got, haphazard measures, and you've got decisions that are being made not on medical grounds, on political grounds, but hidden behind the so-called medical advice.
It is, and you're right. The premiers, when it suits them, they relinquish all responsibility to the chief health officers, and then we'd actually never see the advice, and they act independently of the advice when they feel like it.